The Galactic Council's great hall shone under the lights of Orion Station. Towers of glass and metal reflected the stars outside. Aliens from every corner of the galaxy had gathered. They came in shapes and sizes beyond imagination. Some floated in the air. Others moved on many legs. Every species had a voice in the council, and all of them expected another routine day of talks. The humans had always been unusual members, clever and daring. But today, everyone would see a side of humans that no one could have expected. Kiran, a young human diplomat, stood at the center of the hall. His uniform was simple, but his eyes held quiet strength. He cleared his throat. The hall fell silent. Alien whispers faded quickly. Every delegate waited. Kiran's voice echoed in the vast room. Humans are withdrawing from all council activities, he said. The hall froze. Some aliens stared in disbelief. Some tried to laugh, thinking it was a joke. But Kiran's serious expression left no doubt. Humans were leaving. Every ambassador, every diplomat, every representative from Earth would step away from the council. The words hung in the air. "This is impossible," said Laro, a tall alien with silver scales. "Why would your people do this? We have treaties. Agreements. We share knowledge and trade. Why abandon it all?" Kiran did not rush to answer. He let the silence grow, letting every word sink in. "We have decided to rely on ourselves," he said. "We will no longer negotiate through this council. We will protect our people, our worlds, and our interests on our own." Murmurs rose from every corner of the hall. Some aliens clutched their heads with hands that had extra fingers. Others whispered to each other, unsure if humans were bluffing or serious. The council chambers had never felt such tension. Never had one announcement caused such fear and confusion. An older human diplomat, Mara, stepped forward. She looked around at the alien leaders. Her voice was calm, steady. "We are not abandoning peace. We are choosing a different path. Humans have learned to solve problems in ways others do not understand. Our people are strong, and we will prove it. We will not allow bureaucracy to slow us down when threats grow larger every day." A delegate from the planet Orcs, a creature with 3 glowing eyes, banged on the council desk. "You cannot leave. The balance of the galaxy depends on humans. Without your involvement, chaos will rise." Kiran met the gaze of every alien in the room. "Perhaps that is the point," he said. "Humans have always adapted. When others hesitate, we act. We are not bound by tradition. We do not wait for others to decide for us. We act to survive and to thrive." Some aliens looked frightened. Some looked angry. Some could not hide their curiosity. Kiran could see it in their faces. Humans were not stepping back in fear. They were stepping forward with confidence, with purpose. Outside the council chamber, ships began to reposition quietly. Humans had built new defenses and new communication systems. Alien spies tried to report the changes. They could not understand the speed or the scale of human preparation. Humans were moving like a single organism, working together across the stars. They did not need the council to organize them. They only needed trust in themselves. In the council hall, delegates argued loudly. Voices overlapped. Threats were whispered. Some factions called for punishment. Others called for immediate reconciliation. The chamber became a storm of confusion and fear. Kiran remained calm, knowing that humans had always thrived in such storms. Humans did not panic when others shouted. They planned. They acted. They waited for the right moment. In the corner of the hall, a young alien named Rilo observed silently. Rilo had studied humans for years. He knew that their reputation was more than stories. They were clever, strong, and unpredictable. But even he was surprised by this move. Humans had just thrown the council into uncertainty. They had shown, without a fight, that they were independent and powerful. Kiran walked slowly toward the exit. Behind him, Mara smiled softly. "Let them think we are reckless," she said. "They will learn the truth soon enough. Humans do not rely on luck. We rely on each other." As the doors closed, the hall remained in chaos. Some delegates tried to call emergency meetings. Others sent messages to their home planets. Every corner of the galaxy would hear of this announcement by the end of the day. Humans had withdrawn, and the galaxy had never been the same. Kiran looked out at the stars from the observation deck. Millions of worlds stretched across space. Each star was a challenge, a threat, a chance. Humans would face them all together. The council had been thrown into chaos, but humans were calm. They had made their choice, and now they would show the galaxy what it meant to be human. The news of human withdrawal spread quickly across the galaxy. Every planet, every station, every trading hub received the message. Humans had left the Galactic Council. They would no longer take part in negotiations or treaties. The announcement created shock, fear, and curiosity at the same time. Aliens who had relied on human support now worried about the balance of power. In the Andromeda sector, a small trade station buzzed with activity. Ships from different species docked and undocked, moving goods and supplies. Commander Rilo, a young alien with shimmering green skin, watched the communication screens carefully. His 3 eyes darted from message to message. "This changes everything," he said quietly. His assistant, a robotic being with silver limbs, tilted its head. "Commander, humans are still sending some ships to patrol their own space. They are not inactive." Rilo frowned. "Exactly. They are not leaving because they are weak. They are leaving because they are confident. They want us to see that they can operate on their own. That makes them dangerous." On a distant human colony, life carried on as usual. Farmers harvested crops under the twin suns. Engineers worked on advanced machines that could repair themselves. Children played in the streets, learning navigation and strategy through games. Humans were adapting quickly, but outside observers could not see their systems working as one. Alien intelligence networks tried to study human movements, but humans were too clever. Every action was calculated, every step precise. Back at the Galactic Council, panic spread. Delegates argued loudly, calling emergency meetings every hour. The Orvixians wanted to deploy fleets near human space. Some delegates suggested sending spies disguised as traitors. Others warned against provoking humans. Even the most experienced diplomats felt nervous. They had never faced a challenge like this before. Meanwhile, humans quietly strengthened their home systems. They built automated supply hubs, capable of delivering resources across thousands of kilometers without help from outsiders. Ships moved in formations that seemed random but followed precise algorithms. Alien scouts tried to report the movements, but their sensors often failed. Humans had found ways to hide their strategies. Kiran walked through a human command center, observing the activity. Young and old humans worked side by side. Some programmed star maps. Others monitored communications. Every human seemed focused and calm. Kiran smiled. They are watching us, he said to Mara, who stood nearby. They do not understand how we can do so much with so little guidance. Mara nodded. Let them try to guess. That is exactly what we want. Humans have always done better when underestimated. They panic when we are careful. They falter when we are united. Across the galaxy, messages and rumors spread. Traders whispered that humans were preparing secret fleets. Scientists speculated about hidden weapons. Some colonies feared that humans were planning attacks. Others wondered if humans were simply testing the galaxy's reaction. No one could be sure, and that uncertainty made humans more powerful than any fleet could. In the Orion Station Council chambers, tension reached new heights. Alien leaders argued that the withdrawal would weaken the Council's authority. If humans do not participate, treaties are meaningless, a tall, blue-skinned diplomat shouted. Every agreement we make will fail. But some voices were different. A few delegates admitted they were impressed. Humans have always been clever, said a small, bird-like alien named Tavin. They do not follow our rules. They make their own. If they can survive alone, then perhaps the galaxy needs to see their strength. Back in human space, engineers completed a new type of communication device. It could connect multiple human ships and colonies instantly, without relying on Council systems. Ships tested their speed and defense protocols. Humans learned quickly from each trial. Every success increased confidence. Every challenge taught something new. Unlike the Council, humans adapted without debate. Kiran watched a simulation showing alien fleets approaching human space. The simulation calculated outcomes using advanced human algorithms. Every possibility showed humans strong, ready, and prepared. He turned to Mara. They will try to push us. They always do. But we are ready. We do not need their approval. We only need our unity. The Council's panic continued to grow. Some delegates sent secret messages to other species, asking for alliances against humans. Others tried to bribe human traders for information. No plan worked. Humans had already prepared for every situation. Their focus on self-reliance gave them an advantage no one could match. At night, Kiran stood on a balcony overlooking the stars. Millions of worlds stretched into darkness. Ships moved silently, carrying humans who were ready for any challenge. The galaxy was uncertain, tense, and confused. But humans were calm. They had made a choice to withdraw, and they had already begun showing the strength that came from unity and ingenuity. Across the Council, alien leaders began to whisper among themselves. We cannot underestimate humans, said Rilo. They may have withdrawn, but they are not weak. If anything, they are more dangerous than ever. Humans had created ripples across the stars. Fear, curiosity, and respect were spreading together. The Council was in chaos, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. Human systems were alive with activity. Across multiple star systems, humans coordinated silently and efficiently. Automated factories produced supplies for ships and colonies. Engineers repaired satellites without delay. Scientists monitored distant stars and calculated trajectories faster than any alien network could. Everything moved as if guided by a single mind. Humans had withdrawn from the Galactic Council, but their influence spread across the galaxy in ways no one could predict. Kiran walked through a human command center, observing the activity. Screens glowed with maps of stars, fleets, and colonies. Each human at a workstation focused on a single task, yet every action contributed to a larger plan. Every move is precise, Mara said quietly beside him. They cannot see our systems as a whole. They see only pieces. That is our advantage. Outside human space, alien fleets grew restless. The Orvixians debated sending ships into human territory to test defenses. The Terrans wanted to enforce a blockade, but each plan faced a problem. Intelligence reports showed human fleets adjusting constantly. Every attempt to approach human space met carefully timed maneuvers. Alien commanders could not predict human movements. In a remote human colony, young engineers tested a new transport system. Supplies could move between colonies instantly using automated relays. Human colonies became connected in ways no alien network could match. Communication was fast, secure, and independent. Humans no longer relied on council infrastructure. They relied only on themselves and their clever designs. Rilo watched the reports from a nearby planet. They are not just defending, he said. They are improving, learning, and adapting. Every system they build is smarter than the last. They turn isolation into strength. At the Galactic Council, fear grew. Some delegates admitted quietly that humans had achieved more alone than the Council had in decades. Attempts to reach human diplomats failed. Messages sent through official channels were ignored. Every council plan to influence humans collapsed. The humans had created a network outside their control. Kiran met with a team of human engineers to review new technology. Ships could now repair themselves mid-flight. Sensors could detect alien ships before they reached human borders. Automated defense systems were active, ready to respond without human intervention. Mara watched and smiled. They will see humans as unpredictable. They will see humans as dangerous. And they are correct. Even ordinary humans contributed. Farmers used new farming technology to grow crops faster and share them with colonies in need. Teachers trained children to navigate, strategize, and solve problems. Every citizen became part of the larger system. The galaxy watched, confused and curious, unable to understand how humans could thrive independently. Meanwhile, alien spies reported strange behavior. Humans were moving in ways that seemed random, but each step was part of a larger pattern. Every simulation the Council ran showed humans winning against impossible odds. They adapted faster than anyone expected. Every alien strategist admitted it silently. Humans had not withdrawn out of fear. They had withdrawn to show their power. In a small human outpost, Kiran observed simulations of potential alien approaches. Every scenario showed human ingenuity solving problems before they became crises. Ships navigated asteroid fields automatically. Communication networks rerouted themselves instantly if disrupted. Colonies produced resources efficiently, sharing with other colonies without council help. Humans had built a self-sufficient galaxy. Rilo shook his head in disbelief. They do not need us. They do not need the council. They only need themselves. That is why they are dangerous. At the council, whispers spread. Delegates spoke quietly about the strength humans displayed. We underestimated them, one said. They are stronger than we imagined. They think faster, act faster, and coordinate better than any alliance we have ever seen. Back in human space, engineers and strategists continued their work. Ships were faster. Communication was better. Colonies grew stronger. Every day, humans became more capable, more confident, and more united. Kiran walked along the observation deck, looking at fleets moving in perfect formation. They see chaos, he said. We see opportunity. Humans thrive when others hesitate. That is our true strength. Across the galaxy, alien leaders debated silently. Some wanted to challenge humans directly. Others wanted to watch and learn. Everyone agreed on one thing: humans were not ordinary. Their ingenuity, preparation, and unity had created an advantage no one could easily counter. Mara stood beside Kiran. The Council cannot predict our moves. They cannot force us. Humans have turned independence into power. And that power is only beginning to grow. As human fleets moved quietly through space, the galaxy learned a new truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, planners, and problem solvers. Their withdrawal from diplomacy had shown that strength came from self-reliance, not negotiation. Alien observers realized that humans were more than a member of the Council. They were a force that could not be ignored. Kiran looked out at the stars. Each one was a challenge, but humans would meet them all. The Council scrambled. Aliens hesitated. Humans moved forward, confident in their ingenuity, united in purpose, and ready for whatever the galaxy could throw at them. The Galactic Council had never been more tense. Human withdrawal had shaken every system, and fear spread like wildfire. Delegates argued endlessly, unable to agree on how to respond. Some called for fleets to enforce human compliance. Others warned that provoking humans could start a war. The council chambers were alive with tension, and outside observers felt the uncertainty across the stars. Rilo watched from his command station. His 3 eyes focused on human territory. "They are ready for anything," he said quietly. "Every time we think we have a plan, they adapt faster than expected. Humans are not just clever. They are dangerous when united." In human space, life carried on smoothly. Ships moved in coordinated patrols. Colonies shared resources efficiently. Engineers tested new defenses while scientists improved communication networks. Humans were calm, precise, and prepared. They had anticipated the Council's fear and confusion, and they were ready for any challenge. Kiran reviewed reports of alien fleets moving toward human borders. Each approach was calculated to intimidate. Humans had sensors and automated defenses ready. "They think fear will make us act rashly," Kiran said. "They are wrong. Humans plan carefully. We do not panic. We prepare." Mara joined him, watching simulations of potential attacks. Every scenario showed human systems responding faster than alien forces could adapt. Supply networks rerouted themselves instantly. Defense satellites activated automatically. Fleets moved in perfect formation. Humans had turned preparation into an art. In the council chambers, the debate grew more heated. Orvixians wanted to send spies to gather intelligence on human defenses. Terrans wanted a full blockade to restrict human movement. Bird-like delegates suggested diplomatic negotiations, but no one trusted the humans to return easily. "They are too clever," Tavin whispered to a colleague. "They will not be fooled by words. They act faster than we can imagine." Alien fleets approached human borders, testing defenses. Human sensors detected them instantly. Automated warning systems alerted ships and colonies. Humans did not panic. They observed, calculated, and responded. Every move by alien forces was anticipated. Every action humans took neutralized potential threats before they could grow. In one remote human outpost, engineers prepared a fleet to counter a possible blockade. Ships were equipped with faster engines and energy shields that could withstand attacks. Communication devices ensured that every ship could coordinate instantly. Young cadets trained in navigation and strategy, ready to support any mission. Humans had built strength quietly, away from the Council's gaze, and now it was visible to anyone who tried to challenge them. Rilo studied the human simulations on his screens. They are not aggressive, he said, but they are ready. Any attack will fail. They do not rely on allies or councils. They rely on themselves. Back at the council, some leaders realized they had underestimated humans. Quiet discussions began among factions. We cannot force them, one diplomat admitted. They are stronger than we imagined. We must find another way to deal with them. Others were less cautious. They planned secret missions to infiltrate human systems, hoping to gather intelligence. Every attempt failed. Humans had anticipated these actions and set traps that revealed spies immediately. Kiran observed the council's activity with a calm expression. They will test us, he said. They will try to provoke. But humans do not act on impulse. We act with purpose. Our unity is our strength, and they cannot break it. Across human space, colonies celebrated efficiency and readiness. Citizens worked together seamlessly. Farmers shared resources with colonies in need. Engineers repaired equipment without delays. Students practiced problem-solving and navigation games that prepared them for real challenges. Every human contributed to the larger system, and every contribution strengthened the whole. The alien fleets, realizing their efforts were ineffective, hesitated. Every move they made had been met with precision. Every threat they sent had been neutralized. Even the most aggressive commanders began to doubt their plans. Humans had turned potential chaos into order, showing that preparation and unity were more powerful than intimidation. Kiran stood on the observation deck, looking at stars filled with potential threats. They will come again, he said to Mara. They will try to push us. They always do. But humans are ready. We do not need their approval. We only need each other. Mara nodded. The galaxy is learning. Humans are not weak. They are clever, prepared, and united. That is why we thrive. That is why the Council cannot control us. As tensions reached a boiling point, the truth became clear to all observers. Humans had withdrawn from diplomacy, but they were stronger than anyone expected. Fear, respect, and uncertainty spread across the Council and the galaxy. Humans had not only survived the initial shock. They had turned it into an advantage. Their unity, preparation, and ingenuity made them a force no one could easily challenge. Rilo leaned back in his chair, realizing the reality. Humans do not fight the way others do. They do not rely on fear or threats. They rely on themselves, and that is why they cannot be defeated easily. The Council is learning what humans have always known. Underestimate them, and you risk failure. The galaxy waited, tense and uncertain. Human systems were calm, ready, and united. They had withdrawn from the Council, but they controlled the situation completely. Every challenge only made them stronger. The Council scrambled, alien fleets hesitated, and humans moved forward with quiet confidence, showing that preparation, unity, and ingenuity could outmatch chaos and fear. The Council had grown tense and frustrated. They had tried to challenge humans, to provoke a reaction, and to understand their sudden withdrawal. Every attempt failed. Humans were always ready, always precise, and always united. The Council could not predict their actions. Fear and respect spread quietly among the alien leaders. They began to wonder if humans were acting randomly or if there was a larger plan behind their calm. Kiran knew it was time to reveal the truth. He gathered Mara and a small team of human leaders in the central command room. Screens displayed distant sectors and unexplored regions of space. Humans had been monitoring these areas for years. Kiran pointed to the screens, showing alien leaders that humans had discovered a threat far beyond the galaxy. There is something approaching, Kiran said. A force too large, too powerful, and too advanced for the Council to face united. They would argue. They would hesitate. By the time they agreed on action, it would be too late. Humans withdrew not out of arrogance, but out of foresight. We prepared quietly, away from the Council, to meet this challenge. Mara added, we built technology and strategies that no single Council faction could have agreed upon. We strengthened our fleets, automated our defenses, and created a network of colonies capable of working together instantly. Every move was designed to protect humans and the galaxy when the time came. Across human space, fleets moved with silent precision. Defense satellites monitored every sector. Ships tested new communication devices capable of instant coordination across light years. Colonies were fully supplied and prepared for long-term challenges. Humans had built a system that relied on their unity and ingenuity, not on Council approval. At the Galactic Council, Kiran's message reached every delegate. Hushed conversations filled the chamber. Alien leaders realized they had misjudged humans. They had thought the withdrawal was reckless. They had thought humans were abandoning the galaxy. Instead, humans had been preparing for a threat they could not yet face openly. Rilo observed the communications from his planet. His three eyes widened as he absorbed the information. They were planning all along, he said quietly. Every move, every withdrawal, every network was part of a larger strategy. Humans have been steps ahead of the Council for decades. Some alien leaders felt fear. Others felt admiration. They had underestimated humans for centuries. Humans had always seemed impulsive, daring, or reckless. Now it was clear, humans were capable of thinking farther, faster, and smarter than anyone had realized. Kiran continued to explain the plan. We did not act alone at first. We observed, we learned, and we prepared. Now, we are ready to protect the galaxy if the threat reaches our systems. We have withdrawn from diplomacy temporarily, not to isolate ourselves, but to prove that humans can act independently and effectively when the time comes. The revelation shocked the Council. For the first time, some delegates realized that humans had been watching, learning, and improving all along. The withdrawal was not a mistake or a show of arrogance. It was a demonstration of human foresight and strength. Mara turned to Kiran. This is why they could not predict us. They saw the withdrawal as chaos, but it was a demonstration of our capability. They see humans as dangerous because we are prepared. That danger is not aggression. It is skill, intelligence, and unity. In human colonies, citizens continued their work quietly. Engineers tested energy shields. Scientists monitored the distant threat. Children learned strategy and navigation. Every action reinforced the larger system. Humans had transformed their independence into power, creating a network that could respond instantly to danger. Back at the Council, discussions changed. Factions that had called for attacks or blockades now whispered among themselves. We cannot underestimate humans, said one leader. They have been planning for a threat we cannot even see. Their withdrawal was a lesson in foresight and preparation. Alien fleets adjusted their positions. They no longer attempted to test human borders aggressively. They recognized the intelligence and efficiency behind every human move. Humans had demonstrated that preparation, unity, and ingenuity were more powerful than intimidation or force. Kiran looked out at the stars from the command center. Millions of worlds stretched across the galaxy. Each one could face danger, and humans were ready to meet it. He spoke quietly to Mara. The Council now understands what we have always known. Humans act not out of fear or arrogance. We act with foresight. That is our strength. Mara nodded. The galaxy will see that human independence is not weakness. It is a demonstration of our ability to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. That is why we are respected, feared, and necessary. The revelation of the plan reshaped the Council's perspective. Humans had withdrawn, but they had not abandoned responsibility. They had prepared quietly for a threat that others could not face. The galaxy now understood a truth humans had always known: unity, intelligence, and foresight could achieve more than diplomacy alone. The Council scrambled to adjust their strategies. Alien leaders realized that humans were not reckless or impulsive. Humans were planners, innovators, and protectors. Their withdrawal had been a signal, a demonstration, and a warning. Humans had shown the galaxy that they could act alone, act wisely, and act effectively. The stars were full of challenges, but humans would meet them together. The Council had learned that underestimating humans came at a cost. Foresight, unity, and preparation had made humans a force the galaxy could not ignore. The galaxy had changed. The Galactic Council, once confident and orderly, now moved cautiously. Humans had withdrawn, showing independence and strength, and now the Council had to face a new reality. Alien leaders whispered among themselves. Fear, admiration, and respect mixed together. Humans had proven that they could act alone, plan ahead, and protect not only themselves but the galaxy as a whole. Kiran stood in the central command room of the human headquarters. Screens displayed fleets, colonies, and distant systems. Everything was functioning smoothly. Humans had prepared for every scenario, and every system was ready to respond instantly. Mara joined him. They finally see it, she said. The Council understands what we have always known. Humans are capable, clever, and united. Across the Council chambers, alien delegates discussed how to move forward. Some argued that humans should be invited back into diplomacy carefully. Others suggested observing them quietly before making any decisions. Every leader agreed on one point: humans could not be ignored. Their independence had shown the galaxy a new standard of strength and intelligence. In human space, fleets moved with confidence. Automated systems monitored borders and trade routes. Colonies shared resources efficiently. Engineers repaired ships and satellites. Scientists tested new devices. Even ordinary citizens contributed, working in ways that strengthened the whole system. Humans had shown that unity, preparation, and ingenuity could achieve more than any alliance or council could offer alone. Rilo observed from a distant planet. They have done it again, he said quietly. They did not fight openly, yet they have proven their power. Humans do not rely on others. They rely on themselves. That is why they are respected. The Council finally sent a delegation to human space. Kiran and Mara welcomed the alien envoys with calm confidence. The atmosphere was formal, but humans did not appear intimidated. The Council members noticed the difference. Humans were not just independent. They were prepared, organized, and capable of thinking far ahead of others. President Orlan addressed Kiran and Mara. We underestimated humans. Your withdrawal caused uncertainty, but now we understand your wisdom and preparation. You have proven that humans are a force the galaxy must respect. We invite you back to diplomacy, but with the understanding that your independence and foresight are recognized and valued." Kiran nodded. "Humans never left to oppose the council. We left to prepare and to show that we could protect ourselves and the galaxy. Our independence does not mean isolation. It means strength, unity, and readiness." Mara added, "The Council now sees that humans do not act recklessly. We act with foresight. That is why we are respected and necessary." Alien delegates watched quietly. Some were still surprised. Others nodded in acknowledgement. Humans had turned a shocking withdrawal into a demonstration of intelligence, strategy, and unity. The Council had learned that underestimating humans carried risks. They had seen firsthand how preparation and ingenuity could achieve what diplomacy alone could not. Across human colonies, life continued. Citizens worked, trained, and innovated. Fleets monitored borders, ensuring safety. Colonies shared resources, improving every system. Humans had not just survived the withdrawal. They had grown stronger. They had proved a lesson to the galaxy: self-reliance and unity were as powerful as any council, treaty, or alliance. Rilo, watching from afar, spoke quietly to his aides. Humans have changed the galaxy. Their withdrawal was not weakness. It was a statement. They have earned respect through action, foresight, and unity. The Council will never see them the same way again. In the command center, Kiran and Mara looked out at the stars. Billions of worlds stretched into space, each filled with opportunity and challenge. Humans had shown the galaxy that they could meet any threat, adapt to any situation, and thrive without depending on others. They had withdrawn, but they had also led. The Council began to adapt. They sought human advice for strategies and security. Alien leaders consulted human engineers and scientists. Trade routes were reorganized to include human systems efficiently. Colonies that once feared isolation now saw humans as guides and protectors. Respect had replaced fear. The galaxy had learned the value of human ingenuity and unity. Kiran turned to Mara. "We have shown them who humans are," he said. "We act with purpose. We plan. We adapt. That is why we survive and why we are respected. The Council now sees it clearly." Mara smiled. "The galaxy has learned what humans have always known. Unity, intelligence, and foresight make us strong. Independence does not mean weakness. It means strength, and we have proven it." Humans had withdrawn from diplomacy, but in doing so, they had changed the course of the galaxy. Alien leaders, council members, and distant observers all recognized one truth: humans were clever, prepared, and capable of facing any challenge. Respect was earned. Fear had transformed into admiration. The council had been reshaped, not by conflict, but by human ingenuity and foresight. Kiran looked out at the stars once more. Humans had proven themselves. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would not forget. Underestimating humans was impossible. Unity, preparation, and intelligence had turned a withdrawal into a victory. The stars were full of opportunity, and humans were ready to meet them, together, as one.